Okay. But let's get into it. New details have been revealed about the Mar-a-Lago raid that we hadn't known prior. Let's take a look at what happened.
FBI search of former President Trump's Florida home. ABC News learning that authorities must now track the chain of custody of those top secret documents seized to see if any of the material was compromised.
Our Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas is in Washington with the very latest on the fallout. Good morning, Pierre.
Robin, good morning. We're truly in uncharted waters. And Friday's release of details about what the FBI discovered during that unprecedented search at Mar-a-Lago is stunning. Documents and secrets so sensitive that the nation's security was potentially put at grave risk.
This morning, new concerns over the potentially extraordinary risks to national security posed by the discovery of classified information allegedly seized from former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. ABC News learning that top law enforcement officials must now try to track the chain of custody of those national secrets in an urgent effort to find out if any of the material allegedly taken from the White House was compromised.
How long were they kept at Mar-a-Lago? How many people potentially had access to them while they were kept at Mar-a-Lago?
The investigation will likely include interviewing former Trump administration officials and may even involve checking for fingerprints on the recovered classified documents to better understand who might have had access to them. The Justice Department warrant unsealed Friday raises a prospect of espionage charges and obstruction of justice, revealing 11 sets of recovered documents ranging from confidential to secret, top secret, and even top secret SCI, meaning that it came from intelligence sources and could involve nuclear secrets and information about terrorism operations. SCI material often involves intelligence from allies, spying, electronic eavesdropping, or informants. It's supposed to be viewed only in the most secure designated locations and by officials with the highest security clearances. Federal security protocols flatly state the compromise of top secret material creates the potential for exceptionally grave damage to national security.
Exceptionally.
Among the critical...
Bro, I just want to know, man, is it aliens or not, Trump? I thought you were like a real one. You know what I mean? I thought you were a man of the fucking proletariat. I thought you were like a working class hero. You were going to fucking investigate the swamp and shit. Tell us now, did America do 9/11? And who killed JFK? And what the fuck's going on? Are there fucking aliens or what? Like, you can't even give us this shit? Hillary Clinton, still fretting around, unarrested, okay? You said you were going to lock her up. You fucking didn't lock her up. You said you were going to drain the swamp and, like, talk about these, like, classified information that, like, the American government's hiding from the people, okay? You haven't done that. What have you done? You ain't done shit. Your number one claim to fame now is the economy was so good. Gas was $1 a gallon. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, you didn't do that. China did that, right? With the China virus. Give us the classified documents. Just say what it is. Just say it out loud. Declassified it in your head. You know? And the funniest part about this, of course, has been like, we went so quickly back to the old form. So quickly. We just fucking snapped immediately back to like old school Trump era media coverage where like everyone is waiting on Donald Trump to say something so that like, you know, the Republicans can say this is 5D chess and the Democrats can say this is 5D chess as well, but in a way that is like antagonistic to Trump. Like Democrats are out there being like, oh yeah, he stole these so he can like give it to Saudi Arabia or whatever. And then Republicans are like, oh yeah, he stole these because he's like, you know, fighting against the deep state or whatever. And meanwhile, the entire Trump team is just like literally throwing shit at a wall to see what sticks. First, they started off by saying, well, actually, they might have planted stuff. They probably planted stuff. Then they were like, well, we could have given the information back if you asked nicely more than once. And then now they're saying, and then they finally arrived at like, well, I declassified this information as the president in my head. And basically, like, those things are inherently contradicting. Like, if that's your argument, if your argument was that they put stuff there, then you can't say you declassified it. Right? Oh, the Obama did it too was also another one too. Yeah. You know when you steal a couple staplers from work after you get fired? This is kind of like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, what is it? Which one is it? Did the FBI plant this information as they do, okay, all the time? Or did you actually declassify all that information? Or, and this is the biggest brain move, which is what I said originally as a joke, and I have not seen this yet as a defense, Trump still believes he's president, so he still believes he has access to classified intel and that he can declassify it because he still believes that the election was stolen from him, and therefore, he's still the president. Remember, I said that. I said that the first fucking day. I was like, this is going to be such a funny way to try and defend himself. Do you buy into the whole he was selling it to the Saudis narrative? I've seen it on TikTok. No. Maybe, but not really because it's on TikTok. So if it's on TikTok, it's probably not real. Nothing on TikTok is real, man. You are never going to get you're never going to get like truth from TikTok unless it's my TikTok, which I can't even fucking post to because they blocked me. They banned me from posting.
Questions federal investigators are expected to address. Exactly how was it that so many boxes of highly classified material could be removed from the White House in the first place?
What do you mean how? Like, they took it in boxes, motherfucker. We've known for like a year. We've known for years, 2 years. There's photos of them like taking big boxes out and putting it into a fucking U-Haul truck. It's like cardboard boxes. They say like, this is top secret nuclear information. Okay. Basically written with like Sharpie on the side of it. And it's like all these staffers moving those big boxes into a U-Haul truck. That's how they took it out. I made up the, Sharpie thing, but pretty much.
Who moved it? How was it transported to Mar-a-Lago? What were the security protocols there, if any? The breadth and sensitivity of the material causing...
Why did the FBI only do this raid now? It was so long ago. Great question. Well, you don't even need to ask this question to me. You could have just Googled it, but they did. They did ask. They asked nicely because the FBI's main interest is not rocking the fucking boat. So obviously, they fucking asked nicely time and time again. There was a subpoena that they didn't follow through on. They gave back some of the information, but not all of it. And then they fucking had to retrieve it. Like, what do you mean?
Political shockwaves in Washington.
One side is going to say that this is just politically motivated and weaponization of the Justice Department, but it's also very serious charges about very serious crimes.
The Justice Department had been negotiating for these documents for weeks, eventually subpoenaing them. ABC News also learning that in June, a Trump attorney signed a statement telling federal prosecutors all classified documents at Mar-a-Lago had been turned over after the FBI visited that month. And ABC News confirming that in June, security camera footage from Mar-a-Lago was subpoenaed and turned over by Trump. It's unclear how long that footage covers and what it shows.
Many security officials are expressing utter shock at this situation, and they remind that these types of national security secrets are exactly the kind of information that our adversaries run spy operations to steal. Robin?
All right, Pierre, thank you so much. And for more, let's bring in ABC News Chief Legal Analyst Dan Abrams. And Dan, there's so much to unpack here. What's the most significant thing we have learned now about the search?
I think there are two things. Number one is how sensitive the documents were. That is relevant, no matter how you look at this situation, and Pierre's reporting certainly brings that to life. But the second thing is that these documents were subpoenaed. And the reason that that's important is it goes to intentionality. It goes to whether this was done on purpose. Now, we don't know the answers to those questions, but if these documents were subpoenaed and they weren't turned over, the question becomes why? Why were they refusing? Why were they hiding? Why were they forgetting? Whatever the reason is, as a legal matter, that does become very significant.
And Dan, as you know, Trump's team has claimed he declassified the documents that the FBI seized last week. So what do you make of that?
So there are two issues there. Number one is how you go about declassifying if you're the President of the United States. And this is certainly a very unusual way, at the very least, to claim declassification. But even for the sake of argument, let's assume that the documents were declassified by the president while he was president. That doesn't necessarily resolve all the legal questions, because there's an argument to be made that all three of the statutes that are being investigated here don't require that the documents be actually termed classified. Now, again, I think it's important.
Yep, exactly. Karim Jovian says, just want to say thank you for reacting to the interview to New Yorkers responding to Andrew Tate. Yeah, man, you're welcome. It was a great video. Yeah, that's what I was saying as well. Like, it doesn't even fucking matter. Like, they can still hit him with the espionage charge if he just has access to those documents that he wasn't supposed to have access to.
With regard to whether you did it on purpose, though, whether the documents were classified.
The three statutes that you just alluded to include the Espionage Act and one involving obstruction. So which one is the most concerning for the former president?
Yeah, I mean, espionage, of course, sounds the worst because it's got the word espionage in it. But as a legal matter, it's the obstruction of justice one where you could face up to 20 years if that ever comes into play.
We'll see what happens. Okay, there, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah. Trump is so big brain. He's so alpha brain, mega mind that he actually fucking declassified documents ahead of time that the FBI was trying to plant in his home. Starman 4, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. But of course, it doesn't end there. Donald Trump actually is a little bit concerned about the temperature of the FBI, or rather, in the heels of another man that fatally shot himself after crashing a car into a barricade near the U.S. Capitol building, where the incident happened at 4 a.m. Eastern time. When the man drove his car into a barricade at East Capitol Street and 2nd Street, he then exited his car, which became engulfed in flames, and fired several shots into the air. He then fatally shot himself when authorities approached him, and there were no additional injuries. He was a 29-year-old man from Delaware. At this time, it does not appear the man was targeting any members of Congress who were on recess, and it does not appear the officers fired their weapons, the USCP statement said earlier on Sunday. DC's Metropolitan Police Department is handling the death investigation. U.S. Capitol Police Chief Tom Manger said during a news conference that he had a criminal history from over past 10 years or so, but that there was no information to indicate motive and no political ideology we're aware of at this point. So we don't even know what the fuck this was, okay? Only speculation on that. But yeah, he just like rammed his car into a barricade, lit the car on fire, shot a couple shots in the air, and then killed himself. Yeah, Sigma Grind said he's on that Sigma shit, okay? But you know, he is from Delaware after all, so you never know. But that's one of the you know, quirked up white boys. Here's some more quirked up white boys out there.
Just into CNN, a group
Let's take a look. A bunch of armed Trump supporters gathered outside of the Phoenix FBI office. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because it's going to lead into why I think Donald Trump's like, all right, now let's dial it back a little bit. We're going a little crazy.
Armed Trump supporters gathered outside the FBI office in Phoenix, Arizona. Photographs taken this morning show Trump supporters carrying handguns and assault-style weapons on the street. That is allowed under Arizona's open carry law. One of the demonstrators said they're at that location to support Trump and protest what they call.
Good thing they don't have a fucking nail gun. That's when you know shit's popping. You know what I mean? Like our brave boy over, what was it, Dick Schiffer? The brave man, Dick Schiffer. What a legend. With a fucking nail gun, dude.
Call the unlawful search at Mar-a-Lago. Now, this week, the FBI, along with the Department of Homeland Security, issued a joint intelligence bulletin warning of violent threats against federal law enforcement, courts, and government personnel, as well as facilities.
Following the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago, the Bureau is monitoring an unprecedented number of threats fueled by dangerous statements like these.
This is Gestapo crap.
Dude, I love that. Okay. I thought that they would move to like a TikTok, like a hog talk that we've looked at. You know what I mean? No. The greatest hog talk of all. Fucking Lobo. Lauren motherfucking Boebert. She's already giving the content directly to you. You don't even need to search far and wide to find like some random HVAC guy in Arkansas being like, I'm going to kill the FBI. It's like, no, you got sitting representatives that will say it for you.
And it will not stand. The Department of Injustice needs to be clean.
Oh, fucking no! Woohoo! She said the Department of Injustice. God, they're so whack, dude. It's so funny. They're like, the Department of Injustice? We will not stand for this injustice from the Department of Injustice. Aaron Sorkin. That's Aaron Sorkin shit. Okay? That is the liberalization of the American hoglet, okay? Straight up. 100%.
Out if they're going to start pretending we're some sort of banana republic.
This should scare the living daylights out of American citizens and say, we have got to change our federal government. The way our federal government has gone, it's like what we thought about the Gestapo and people like that they just go after people.
You said you would. It's my birthday wish. What is this? What? Dude, what? I don't care, okay? What do you mean? Like, what the fuck? What, you want me to fucking watch Bible Man right now? You want me to drop everything and watch Bible Man currently? We're in the middle of the fucking news cycle. We'll do Bible Man eventually, okay? Happy fucking birthday. But like, what are you, crazy? I'm doing the news right now. That's actually not as bad. We are going to watch Bible Man. I said that we would do it. And we will eventually watch it. But like, not right now, obviously.
What we thought about Soviet Union, what we look at Latin America, we have got to say to ourselves, this cannot be our country.
Just yesterday, the name.
Yeah. By the way, if we're talking about like banana republics or like corruption in Latin American countries, okay, outside of like our involvement, our direct involvement in that corrupt form of governance being established in said countries, Rick Scott himself is a perfect example of like the most Latin American corrupt politician in America. A man who was investigated for Medicare fraud for his like company. You know what I mean? Like this guy straight up literally was investigated and was charged for doing fraud. Like that's literally direct 1-to-1. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean, Banana Republic?
Names of the two agents who signed the search warrant paperwork were circulating online after the unredacted warrant was leaked. Joining me now is Peter Strzok. He is a former FBI counterintelligence official who played a central role in both the Hillary Clinton email and Trump-Russia investigations. He's also the author of Compromised, Counterintelligence and the Threat of Donald J. Trump. Peter, one of the most amusing things that I saw in the past week, I think I saw one Republican.
Which, for the record here, like, if you want to know, Rick Scott oversaw the largest Medicare fraud in the nation's history. Okay? His prior tenure as the CEO of Columbia/HCA about a decade ago when the hospital company was fined $1.7 billion for Medicare fraud. And then Florida was like, that's our guy. We need to make him the governor. So understand how fucking cucked Republicans are all around the country. Okay? So for Rick Scott to turn around and be like, yeah, that's so fucked up. Man, a real banana republic. Yeah, dude, because you weren't fucking executed. We are a banana republic. Because a normal country that looks to that, okay, and watches a dude engage in the largest Medicare fraud, like taking money from the government, okay, that is supposed to fucking heal people and line up your executive profits, yeah, a normal country would literally be like, all right, well, you have to be hanged by public execution. Except in Florida, they make you the fucking governor. Also, no one has ever like Rick Scott literally just looks like an evil person. That's the other thing. Like Rick Scott, much like Ted Cruz, just looks like shit, which makes it even funnier. Like even on a purely aesthetic basis, right? You got a motherfucker looking like Voldemort out here, and you're like, nah, that's my guy. Love that guy. Love that man. That's my governor, baby. I mean, he just looks like a lizard person. How do you vote for this motherfucker, dude? He is villain coded. He straight up is. He is exactly villain coded. My man looks like a fucking demon, dude. Medical fraud is the only natural industry Florida has. That and gator wrestling. Thought I'd seen him somewhere. Yeah. How are you going to take the most gigantic fucking L and like, elect a skinwalker to a position of authority like this after they also demonstrated that they're villainous? You know what I mean? It's not like it's not like up to debate. You know what I mean? And then this motherfucker goes on Fox News and is like, wow, I can't believe it.
Lawmakers saying, well, where was all of the attention to Hillary Clinton's emails? Of course, I remember when James Comey came out with that 11 days before the 2016 election, had a very big impact on that election. But what do you say to those voices on the far right who spent all week slamming the Bureau's integrity and I mean, really using the kind of language that could lead to violence, could animate some, extremist out there who might be thinking about doing something violent?
Yeah, grow up. This is wildly irresponsible. This is directly leading to violence.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. What do you mean grow up? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, they'll grow up. No, dude. No, let the contradictions play itself out. That's what I say. That's content. That's content. Just let it, because like here's what I think, okay? As long as they're still like trying to penetrate hard targets like the fucking FBI field office, who cares? They're only going to fuck themselves, you know what I mean? They're not going to actually do a fucking violent revolution by taking down the FBI office. First of all, if you want to do that, you have to take over like areas like areas of I guess what would it be? Like the electric grid, you know what I mean? You can't fucking go after the FBI field office. There's nothing going on there. Okay? This is not advice, obviously. I'm just saying that like it is the same as you have to like infiltrate or target strategic targets, right? You can't just like fucking go into the FBI field office and be like, yeah, that's right, we're doing a revolution. Like you're gonna get fucking owned. So my point is, okay, and obviously this is not advice. Don't write this down. Stop writing it down. Stop writing it down. My point is, hogs and hogalinas going to the fucking Cincinnati FBI office or the Arizona FBI office to do a demonstration, a show of force, is the exact same kind of idiotic energy of the January 6th insurrection, right? Where it's like, that's not a coup. That's not how you do a coup, dumbass. You don't just like fucking try to stop a symbolic process from playing itself out once the votes have already been counted 1 million times over. That's not like, yeah, you're going to ruffle some feathers. People are going to get killed. People are going to get, into trouble. You might go to jail, right? When your Hasanabi head son it reports you to the authorities, okay? But like, you're doing like You're doing something that is playing itself out in the dumbest way possible. Okay? I mean, stopping a vote from happening is how Bush got elected. Yes, that was a successful way to do it. That wasn't a symbolic, that wasn't a symbolic like, oh yeah, let's fucking stop the symbolic part of this presentation of like the symbolic part of this process where they're like authorizing the votes or whatever after all the ballots have been cast and they've been fucking calculated or tabulated. That was legitimately the appropriate action to fucking take from a competent Republican Party that had their eyes on the fucking prize and went in to a location. They had already infiltrated some of these institutions, like the Supreme Court. They already had Jeb Bush as the governor, helping out his brother win the election. That is entirely different than like deciding to do the Brooks Brothers riot at the last fucking second in the halls of Congress as they are authorizing votes that have already been tabulated, counted 10 times over. You know? And the same exact like idiotic, incompetent potato energy exists within the Arizona FBI office being threatened by armed protesters. Like, that's not how you do like a violent revolution. Okay?
It is inflaming people. It is causing things like a gunman approaching the Cincinnati field office of the FBI, brandishing a weapon, leading people on a car chase and, ending in his death. This is something we know from decades of the global war on terror, the things that you try and do to de-radicalize people. You approach political leaders, community leaders, faith leaders, and you tell them to dial back the rhetoric. What we're seeing in America today is the opposite. And, to your point, with a team of about 20 people, I spent a year and a half working on Hillary Clinton's email server, where we executed multiple search warrants. I never heard one Republican once raise a finger talking about how we were using Gestapo tactics or overreaching. From the Democrats, behaving like responsible.
No, they're literally saying you should have fucking killed her in a raid, or at least like her dog. And because you didn't do that, the FBI is compromised, like they're pussies. That's literally what they're saying. Because there is no moral consistency. Let's drop this, okay? Let's drop this notion that there is any kind of fucking moral consistency, okay? There isn't one. The only consistent value that both liberals and Republicans hold on to so desperately is hurt my enemies, okay? I'm on Team Lib. You're on Team Republican. I want the Team Republican to be hurt. I want them to feel pain. And this has been the guiding motivation of the Republican base in perpetuity. And now at least liberals are kind of like getting in on that fun too, which I don't personally have too much of an issue with, because at this point it's like we're not going to do anything through the legislative agenda. All we're going to get is like, tax credits for corporations that are like, yeah, we're going to do carbon capture. You know what I mean? So pretty much like on that front, we're not going to get like real action unless there is like legitimate organizing happening on the fucking ground that will create a mechanism of enforcement, a mechanism of regulation towards the Democratic Party to urge them or to threaten them to do the right thing. We're not going to be able to use the electoral options, so just have fun with it. That's my take on it. You know what I mean? My take is like, let's just have fun. Let the hogs hog out.
American citizens.
You mean like votes? No, motherfucker. By like threatening the powers of capital, threatening capital, striking it at its heart, okay, at its profit margins. No, I don't mean like voting. What do you mean voting? What the fuck? You voted for Joe Biden. What happened? Are you happy? Did he fucking solve problems for you? No, shut the fuck up. There you go. People will be like, dude, what do you mean, like voting, like a mechanism of change and control through voting? Yeah, dude, it was so sick when we voted, and then also voted again in Georgia, and then like we got actually a majority in the Congress, and then yet still. Everyone was like $15 minimum wage, broadly popular, almost universally popular. Sorry, can't have that. Senate parliamentarians said no. So what happened? You voted, You voted so fucking hard. Dude, I voted illegally, dude. I love voting. I love voting so much. I was voting illegally. I was urging all of my undocumented immigrants to vote 3 times, 4 times, because you know how the Democratic Party works. Like, we are able to vote illegally all the time. Like, that's the only way that we win elections, right? I was fucking voting so hard. And what happened? Nothing, motherfucker. Roe v. Wade got overturned by the Supreme Court. So what happened? Yeah.
Letting the FBI do its job, and that's what the Republicans need to do here. The FBI has a job to do to enforce the laws of the United States, and it should.
Your outlook has changed since you've obtained financial security? No. You fail to comprehend exactly what I'm saying. Also, you've been only following since January 6, 2021, which is hilarious because I was incredibly financially secure back then as I am now. So what the fuck do you know about my attitude when you are a bandwagon follower? Pickle Rick ass motherfucker. Anyway. Also, there is probably not a better representation of a individual chatter's like personal lack of comprehension when I'm in the process of describing external forces and the necessity for a mechanism of enforcing a mechanism of enforcement and a mechanism to strike back at the Democratic Party, which is literally like not someone who is financially stable would ever fucking say. Financial stability implies I tell you to shut the fuck up and vote, not the opposite. Okay? All right, let's continue.
It's beyond the pale that there are senators, United States senators, who are going along and nodding their head up and down with suggestions that the FBI plants evidence are things which are extraordinarily wrong. And these people know better. And for them to be continuing to say that, in light of everything we're now seeing, the constant flow of classified material that's being recovered out of Mar-a-Lago, false statements apparently by attorneys to President Trump saying that nothing remained. There isn't any basis to be making these claims. It is leading to violence, and it needs to stop.
Yeah, it almost reminds me, Peter, of some of the incendiary rhetoric that we heard leading up to January 6th. And we saw, of course, that spasm of violence on that day, which obviously is the subject of the January 6th investigation. And all of that is sort of not really on the front page right now because we're focusing so much on what occurred at Mar-a-Lago a few days ago. But let's just clear something up. If it were any other person not named Trump who had 11 sets of classified documents at their home, including items marked top secret SCI, how would you be treated by the FBI? I mean, it's almost because Trump goes after people. He engages in character assassination. He's gone after you, for example, and so on, that the Justice Department, the FBI,
I think the U.S. is in a much position now than we would have been without voting 2 years ago. I can list the key pieces off: coronavirus relief bill, bipartisan infrastructure, Inflation Reduction Act, biggest climate action. I'd encourage you to want more, but to act like the 50-50 Senate did not get us these things is disingenuous. I mean, I am saying that. I'm saying that the 50-50 Senate got us the fucking bare minimum, but also on top of that, things that the 50-50 Senate should be able to protect, the Republican Party is slowly but surely undermining regardless of our voting. So we clearly need another outside factor on top of voting, because voting hard has not helped you. You are saying that because you want me to tell you a nice little tale so you feel good about your action. You want to feel good. You did your job, you did your civic duty, and now you're like, all right, well, what the fuck? Why aren't you telling me that it's good? Why aren't you telling me that like it's enough? Because it's not enough.
correct me if I'm wrong here, they do, I guess, treat the former president somewhat carefully because of what he can unleash.
Right. And I think, Trump has a history of playing in the margins of legality. He finds where that line is, he goes right up to it, and he pushes it to see whether or not he can get away with something. That was magnified when he became president, just because of the history of deference we have in this country to the presidency. So things which were never really codified, things that were always accepted as common practice, he walked right past that. And whether it was disregarding questions that Special Counsel Mueller asked of him, refusing to be interviewed in person, whether it's things like this where he's claiming first that he didn't have documents, then that he turned them in, then that he declassified them. There's just nothing there that, he won't push the boundary. Now, when it comes to my experience, I know from personal experience, several very high-level, high-ranking government officials that I was present executing a search warrant because there was no offer of a subpoena. There was no reach out to their attorney to try and negotiate the return of something which we suspected they had.
What things outside of voting do you suggest then? Genuine question. I already described it. Organize. Without a labor council, without an overarching labor movement to bully the Democratic Party into doing the right thing in times when it feels kind of hard to do so, you're not going to do that. You're not going to be able to get anything, okay? You're going to constantly find a Democratic Party that is working to undermine your interest after advocating for said values when they were campaigning. They're fake friends, okay? They're fucking fake friends.
If they had classified information and they didn't have authorization to have it, it was contraband. We went to a judge, we got a search warrant, we executed that and recovered the material. So there's just no question in my mind that Trump is being treated differently, and largely because of who he is, but also because of his position as a...
Tweeting is also good? No, stop tweeting. Never tweet. I'm doing enough of that. You don't have to do it as well, okay? Stop. No, tweeting is the worst thing you can do, okay? I hate motherfuckers who think like, oh, I'm tweeting a revolution. You're not. You're not doing anything. It doesn't mean shit. You're not doing shit. As a matter of fact, the only thing you're doing is like just, scaring people. You're scaring all the hoes. Stop tweeting. Never tweet. If you think you're actually doing praxis by tweeting, okay, whatever the fuck that means, you're probably doing the exact opposite. You're scaring the hoes, okay? Stop tweeting. Never tweet. Your tweets don't matter. Nobody cares.
The former president.
And Peter, here's the question that I have that has not been answered, and that is, why is a former president of the United States in possession of all of this top secret material? Do all of our former presidents have mansions and resort properties where they keep a room full of top secret classified material? I mean, why does he have this stuff?
Jim, he's an outlier. There is nobody else, no other president that I'm aware of. And certainly when I was an FBI agent, there is no other president in my experience that ever had classified information, let alone this volume. What troubles me the most about this case, I cannot understand why he maintained that material. The intelligence community struggled on a daily, day in, day out basis.
Do you think your sexist language could also be scaring away people? Absolutely not. No, because like the overwhelming majority of people are genuinely sexist and not like ironically using sexist terminology while talking about something that is like very serious. Yeah. No, we live in a patriarchal society, so that kind of stuff probably makes me seem more normal as a human being than anything else.
To try
but thank you for the question. That's fine.
Get him to pay attention to the president's daily brief. They tried and struggled to get him to listen to the intelligence community. He was happy to listen to Vladimir Putin, but he had no appetite to sit and listen to what it was that folks within the intel community were trying to tell him. Now suddenly, he's out of office.
Not gonna lie, bad take. Well, I think I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm Wait, what did he say? Oh, debate lord detected. Hold on, you banned him before he did a follow up. He said, "Well, we also live in a racist society. Why don't you do racism? Would that make you seem more relatable too?" Yes. Do you want me to do more racism? Is that what it is? I could be way more racist. I'll amp it up for you, okay? Fuck Italians. There. See that? I'm on my racism arc. Genuinely can't tell if you're serious. What? No, dude. I can't be too racist, unfortunately. I've been banned for anti-white racism before, so I already have a big mark for my racism.
And he suddenly pivots to take 27 boxes of classified material that he couldn't be bothered to read while he was the president. He's not writing some detailed memoir about the political ins and outs of what he accomplished in the Middle East or with North Korea. It makes no sense why he would keep it. And that really, when you look at what it is that he appears to have had.
By the way, Moz, the person that you guys banned for 7 days, you can unban him. I mean, we can have a little bit of fun with her. You know what I mean?
That is really, really troubling.
Yeah, Peter, I mean, the former president, he's put out all kinds of fundraising emails in the last several days. He's put out lots of statements and posts on his Truth Social website. We haven't heard, why does he have this stuff? And, if he or his people are listening, can they just offer that explanation? Why do they have all this top secret material at Mar-a-Lago? I think it's a question that needs to be answered. Peter Strzok, thank you.
Speaking of Jim Acosta, he had a great moment here. This was whatever. This was basic coverage, but let's take a look at what's happening with the Forward Party, guys. Let's see what's happening with the Forward Party. Andrew Yang of the Forward Party recently had a convo with Jim Acosta.
On both sides.
But you're going to have to come up with policy
really
positions.
Negative results.
Right,
we
but
just
Andrew,
need a better system.
Yeah, but Andrew, you're going to have policy positions at some point. How does the Forward Party feel about Roe versus Wade? Should it have been overturned?
Well, I personally think that women's reproductive rights are fundamental human rights. But the Forward Party has not left or right.
What do you mean, but? Why'd you say but the Forward Party after that? You're supposed to say and then follow through. It's your fucking party. What do you mean?
But Forward stance on even the most divisive rights are fundamental human rights. But the Forward Party has not left or right, but forward stance on even the most divisive and contentious issues.
Well, what does that mean? Don't you have to take a position on something? Don't you have to take a position on something? You can't just say, well, this is a hot button issue, so I'm not going to take a position on it. If you want to run the country, you're going to have to make some hard decisions, Andrew.
Again, the Forward Party is about that common sense consensus majority view, which is very clear on abortion. It's clear.
What about guns? What about assault weapons?
On climate change. It's actually clear on just about every issue under the sun.
Should 18-year-olds be able to buy AR-15s?
Because of the nature of our system.
Should 18-year-olds be able to buy AR-15s?
Again, the common sense consensus majority is that there should be some rules around background checks and access to firearms. But we're not getting any of these things, Jim, because the two-party system does not need to deliver.
But it doesn't sound like you're taking any hard positions. It sounds like you're
trade power.
It sounds like you're sort of a fill-in-the-blank party. If somebody wants a party with no clear policy positions, you're it. But unfortunately, in the real world,
I love that Jim Acosta will fucking dagger Andrew Yang for fence sitting, but routinely offers this routinely will refuse to offer this level of pushback on any other Democrat who operates exactly like Andrew Yang. You know what I mean?
In the real world, you have to take a position on something.
Well, we're for the common sense consensus.
Also, he's one step away from buckling, which is the classic. If I were a debate pervert, which I'm not, Okay, my immediate question would be like, okay, what about when the common sense consensus is like that black people shouldn't be able to drink from the same water fountain as white people? What's the Forward Party's stance on that? What happens when you actually reach, you know, when you can't reach common consensus on said matters? All right, I'm unbanning the fucking chatter now. Do it. Unleash them. Unleash them. Unleash them upon us. That's what the question, like, they would buckle in a heartbeat on that one. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, okay, well, I guess common sense consensus is, on that issue, it's divisive, so I don't know. Oh, okay, got it. Thanks. Holy shit, you would make the most obnoxious debate pervert? Yeah, I am. Or I was. Not am. And I can be. I just don't choose to be because it fucking sucks. All right. Anyway, here are some of the hogs and hogalinas that went to the Arizona FBI office. Let's take a look at that. FBI, honor your oath. Arrest all traitors. What do they mean? Like, do they mean like arrest them? You know what I mean?
Search for the FBI, and they're fighting for our president. They're just recording freedom at work. We're on the right side of history.
Yes, and I'm exercising my Second Amendment rights to protect my First.
Absolutely. We're here fighting for our President Trump. We're here in support of Trump for what happened to him, the unlawful search for the FBI at his Mar-a-Lago home. Now we're waiting to see what DeSantis is going to do, because Florida happens to be his state, and we want to see if DeSantis is going to step up on the side of Trump and Trump supporters. We're out here standing for freedom.
Yeah, DeSantis, do the right thing.
Of this tyrannical government called the Biden regime.
Dude, I love that. It's like the most fucked up grandmas, dude, and grandpas. You know what I mean? They're out there, they're doing their thing. This is like you're fucking bored, okay? You're retired, or you have a business, so you don't have to like actually go to work. You know, other people are making money for you. So you just have a lot of free time. This is shit people do when they have a lot of fucking free time. You don't see me out there doing this shit because I'm fucking streaming for 8 hours. You know what I mean? This is that sweet, sweet HVAC life. The other reason is because I'm too busy fucking farming subscriptions at the top of the hour when a 60-second ad break comes. Okay? Because at the top of the hour, there's a 6-second ad break. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime, or which you can get for free by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get one free Prime subscription a month, or by getting gifted a sub. That's right. Crack a what? Thank you for the 5 get the subs. Brohelio is dope. Thank you for the 5 get the subs, allowing 10 people to no longer see the ads. Speed Razor with another 10 gifted, allowing 10 people to no longer see the ads. Here's the 1-minute ad break now. Okay? That's how you do it. Pad Fut Mutt, thank you for the 10. Mitchy D, thank you for the 5.
We will not stand by, and we will not stand down. We're going to stay out here. We're going to fight, and we're going to take the fight to the FBI if need be. You can record me. You can look for me. I don't care. We're all law-abiding Americans.
Ray Donnell, thank you for the 5.
We're not BLM. We're not Antifa. We are out here, and we're going to stay out here, win the fight. We're going to win this fight on behalf of Trump. If Trump fought for us, we're going to fight for him. Let freedom ring.
And how do you feel about the FBI right now? What do you think they can do to? What can they do to make you happy?
Right now.
Did you ask who he's from?
News to Share.
News to Share. Who the hell is that?
NTS Reports. You can look it up on Twitter right now.
Twitter.
Or YouTube.
I don't do Twitter. I don't do YouTube.
You say, I don't have Twitter. I got banned. Comic Code, thank you for the 5 get the subs. Ducky Strange, thank you for the 5 get it as well.
They're a piece of shit.
Okay. Would you prefer them from legacy media?
Healy 1920, thank you for the 5 get it.
We're independent.
Okay, so you're talking about the FBI.
Yeah, well, I mean, what could they do to, like, What's something they could do to make you happy? Or can they do anything?
They can't do anything at this point. They've lost all credibility at this point. So we're to the point now where we have to dismantle them and start over. We need American loving. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, as long as you're on the side of right. That's what we want. We want the people to do right by this country and vice versa.
And doing right by this country means the FBI needs to give back those classified documents back to Trump. Right? That's like, is that what they mean? Like, what's the goal here? Like, they're mad at the FBI for retrieving classified documents that Trump had at Mar-a-Lago that he's not allowed to have. So, like, the right thing to do in this situation is to give those documents back to him. He should be able to show off to all of his friends at Mar-a-Lago. All right? How dare you take this stuff? That was his. It's called Finders Keepers. And it's called Losers Weepers, okay? Have the FBI thought about not letting them have the documents first? Well, they failed. Leonora, thank you for the 5 gifted. And Julie, high five. I high five you. Thank you for the 5 gifted.
I'll be right back, Robert. So what brings you out here today?
Just people watching.
Just people watching?
Yep.
How do you feel about the FBI right now?
I want them to do their job. And keep to their oaths.
Should have stepped in his way, Roger. I'm gonna step right in his fucking way and made him wait. Turn in the fraudsters, the liars.
And I'm running for office. There's election law that apparently protects me and is supposed to protect people like Donald Trump.
This man literally did what I was joking about. And he's like, I'm running for office, so obviously you can't arrest me because I'm running for office. That's right. I get to be a 3%er, and as long as I'm running for office, I can go and shoot people up, okay?
Right now, that man's basically declared. They know he's gonna run for president. And for them to pull this move, this is what they do to Americans though every day. FBI, federal court systems, they will deny you bail. They will deny you a lawyer. Your lawyer from the federal defender, because you can't afford one, is gonna gaslight you. And even the bar lawyers, they facilitate the deprivation.
Brother, you literally are like a back the blue guy talking about like how awful the criminal justice system is. Like, you're right about everything you said, except like you never apply that to the average fucking citizen. You only apply that to like Donald Trump and other small business owners that fucking went and did a hog Disneyland trip inside of the fucking Capitol. Like, what do you mean?
Of rights, and the level that it happens, they don't even talk about. Like, yeah, we're talking about Trump and this search and whether it's constitutional or not, and it's not constitutional. It's not a constitutional search. I don't know who that guy is. Whatever, dude. Everyone wants to be an instigator. You know, and as far as people would say, they look at me and they say, oh, you're coming here to instigate. I don't come to instigate. I come to bring people together.
For people who say Boogaloo Boys are not back the blue, you're out of your fucking mind, okay? 3%ers, Boogaloo Boys, they are still very much back the blue. They literally will sometimes run back the blue stickers and run back the blue fucking decals and shit on their fucking cars. They're wannabe fascists. What the fuck do you mean? They love when the criminal justice system is violent and brutal and oppressive, just not to them. Maybe they're anti-ATF, but that's like the cool thing for libertarians to just be like, I'm anti-ATF because they come in and they kill your dog and, you know, That's it, though.
Like, even these...
No, they are not. Man, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut up. Shut up. This idea that, like, the fucking Boogaloo boys across the board... Well, first of all, it's an extremely online group, okay? And it's not like a real fucking movement. But this notion that they aren't, like, collaborating with cops at the protest that they go to, including, like, the Kyle Rittenhouse one, where the cops were saying, like, oh, thank you for your service, brother, to all the Boogaloo boys that were there. Like, routinely fucking giving them bottles of water and, like, dabbing each other up and shit. Like, what do you think? We don't fucking see it? Shut up.
I would love to have a dialogue with these people and talk about how we're going to save lives in America, because we have all these catastrophes that we're facing. And quite frankly, it is a result of the Biden administration. I don't care who he is. It doesn't matter. I don't care who you are, man. It's about us. We all have grievances. I don't care what group you belong to, whether you're left or right, Democrat, who you voted for. It doesn't matter anymore. If we want to live in a free society, we got to come together. And people like this, institutions like this, are not supposed to exist in our federal government. They weren't, especially to the level that these people abuse it.
See all the voting fraud on frankspeech.com. The cyber...
This is like a Zoo webcam live feed? Yes, it's awesome. It's fucking perfect. It's exactly that, and it's fucking dope.
Symposium.
That's Sear if he never left Ohio, okay? What you just saw was right-wing Sear. Sear stayed at Ohio and then moved to Arizona instead of, having a blossoming career on Twitch.
3-day long cyber symposium. Not to mention 2,000 mules. No camera, no camera.
No more pictures, please.
Maz, we got raided by like irate losers. I think we might get botted or some shit. I'm just letting you know. Be on the lookout. I don't know who that is, but I don't know what that is, but it could be like a botted thing. Yeah, that's right. I got my Confederate flag I'm waving. Arizona.
We definitely need to protest what the FBI is doing.
Which part of the state are you in, sir?
Phoenix.
What do you look to get out of this today?
Show people that they're not the one alone in feeling like we.
Do you have a Confederate belt buckle too? No.
They're not alone in opposing government overreach. They're not alone in opposing what the FBI is up to. That's what any demonstration is for, is to tell people that they're not the only ones who feel that way.
Well, spit on the sidewalk, too. That way they can write you up for that, too.
Anything you want to say, man? What do you say?
Hey, we really don't want to incite anybody. That's not welcome in this group.
It is. I support that.
Do you?
I support that. I'm not inciting anyone. I'm peacefully protesting just like y'all are.
I wholeheartedly, personally, I support that flag. I think I have it on me. Yeah, it's right here. Oh, yes.
Dude, anyone that's this big of a fan of stickers is just not, they don't have their heart in it, okay? If you have a plate carrier with 0 fucking plates in it, or you're wearing like an airsoft vest, and all you've done is put fucking stickers all over it, like, you're not actually in it. Like, you got no skin in the game. All you want is just fucking fun times, okay? That's it. Like, you're just running around trying to have fun with the rest of the hogs. This is no different than like trying to have a barbecue, but because it's America, it's like, you know, this is the most political action you're going to get. And of course, everyone has fucking guns.
Never mind, I'm here for another week.
Oh my God, look at how many flags she has. Dude, what the fuck? What is he do? What is that, bro?
Damn, I got too many flags in my hand right now. Can't decide which one.
Anything you want to say? Why are you here today?
Oh, okay.
Protecting rally participants. That's the only reason.
From what? The FBI? Good luck.
That's the only reason you came out today? Well, as a side benefit, I came out in support of President Trump.
Preventing them from accidental discharge from the dude whose gun was just in his fucking waistband. Nah, he might have one of those like tactical carry things that it's like a concealed carry waistband thing that you put. It looked like it. It looked like one of those things. I don't think he just like was raw dogging it.
In the pursuit of happiness, given to us by our great and glorious God on high.
Okay, this dude doesn't even have a flag. That's a weapon. Like a lot of these people, they carry flag poles because they can use the pole as a weapon. Homie is not even like, homie's built like a Bloodborne boss, okay? Look at his wife rolling up behind him. Oh my God, his poor fucking wife. Look at this.
Hallelujah!
Oh, he does have a flag. Never mind. Oh, I love that. He has the POW MIA flag.
Freedom!
Vote Trump for the unborn and religious liberty.
I routinely provide security for my fellow patriots at rallies, protests, whatever. Oh. I've been to the Capitol building, overpasses, I've been all over the freaking place. Great, I thought you were every people. Fuck no. Funeral Brothers Incorporated now. You're wearing the same kind of camera. Amazon, man. I got to get myself one. No, I was over there to cover our butts. Yeah, the guy came. I turned in there to begin with. Yeah, that's Phoenix PD Community Services. I already spoke to them. Oh. Okay, I thought he's FBI. So you filming me? He goes, yeah.
This is freedom ringing.
Wow, artistic shots in between. Look at that B-roll, tasteful B-roll.
You say stuff just like a left-hand. You say stuff and go away. Joseph Wall.
Let's don't act like them. Let's just love them with the love of the Lord. Yeah. You got to keep a pace. We don't want to stay in the pace. We don't want to look like them. Our God is an awesome God. And he sent his only begotten Son. Not just for one of us. Or for one particular sin.
The thing I'll never understand is how like all these people are just like sitting around yelling and stuff, and not a single one of them goes, yo, are we fucking crazy? Like, are we a little crazy? Like, no time for self-reflection. Like, if I'm standing next to a dude that looks like that and he's just saying like, God is on our side on our holy righteous conquest, we must storm the halls, like all this shit, I'd be like, damn, racist Santa's popping off, but like, are we fucked up? Like, what's happening? What are we doing right now? Not even a single one of them's like, yo, maybe we're just like kind of whack and kind of crazy.
He came and walked amongst us to show us who the Father was and is. So let's acknowledge the love that is what we're supposed to do. You know what the toughest job on earth is? Being able to forgive those who trespass against us.
Dude, look at his hands shaking. Brother, just go home. Go home, man. Like, pick up a different hobby. Like, clearly, you're not...
We can acknowledge that we can forgive ourselves.
Look at him. He can barely hold on to the fucking flag. Like, his hand is shaking.
He of the no sin cast the first stone. But let's accept the fact that we have a job on this earth to do and stand for truth. And that's what we're here for today. I don't care who comes against us. If God gives it, no one can take it away. Where we are weak, He is strong. So let's keep our standing the line under the truth of the living Word of God. That's our power. When we start doing it on our own, we're no better than the enemy.
Truth is on our side.
Amen.
Amen. Truth is on our side. That's why we will not comply with this tyranny. Truth is on our side.
We will resist evil. Whether it was with good intentions or not, we will resist your evil. We don't give a damn about your good intentions or your gun laws. We care about the Bill of Rights. We will take all our rights.
I'm gonna be honest, like, there isn't a lot of organizational I'm not seeing a lot of organizing here, okay? They're kind of all over the place. They're basically like they're screaming into the void a little bit. Homie looks like my PUBG character. Yeah, I mean, he's got the load. Yeah. He looks like he picked up the vest from the ground and the gun from the ground, and he's just like piecing it together.
And tell Klaus Schwab he can go fuck himself. You will own nobody, and you will like it. Why doesn't the news talk about the Great New Reset? Nobody wants to talk about the Great New Reset. Now you're going to eat bugs and walk on treadmills to produce electricity in the whole green new world.
You're going to eat bugs and walk on treadmills to produce electricity. Yeah, meanwhile, this guy, he's above it, dude. He's totally outside of the system. He's really figured it out, okay? He's really figured it out. All these guys think that they're so much fucking smarter than the average schlub who has been captivated by the system, okay? I love that. He clearly watched Snowpiercer and Black Mirror. No, it's a 4chan. This is what they talk about in the forums, like bug men. Like, you're a bug man. You're a consumer, okay? You're stupid. And all you do is, like, you'll eat bugs because they are the most, like, they're the only type of protein you will be able to consume in the future. That's what he's saying. Okay. Even Chapo makes jokes about eating the bugs and living in the pods. Yeah. I mean, it's an understandable fear or frustration that we have with the future, okay? As like resources dry up as a consequence of anthropogenic climate change, as all this shit happens, all you will have to be able to eat is just like bugs that are packaged to you and sold to you as though it's like delicious and good. That's the fear that people have. Okay? But ultimately, my point is, it's impossible to escape the system. You're not Ted Kaczynski. Actually, ironically, this is a lot of what we talked about with Chapo. Like, when Chapo was here for the pod, this is exactly what we talked about. Like, all of this. Like, the whole bug eating and how everyone is a bug man. You know what I mean? All this shit. But it's just silliness, because you're not doing an eco-fascism. You're not like organizing. You're just reinforcing, or basically playing the same song and dance, and you think you're above it. You think you're above the system when you are absolutely a part of the system. And so am I, by the way. I am too. So is Chapo. So is everybody else. So are the people on Twitter that fucking yell at me and say, like, dude, you're a fake socialist. Like, everyone is playing that exact same role within the system. Everyone is doing it. You might feel like you're outside of it, but you're not. You're not.
Drop your fucking badge and walk away from your job. It would be better that you starve to death with your fellow countrymen.
If you feel that way about yourself, why don't you change? Do you feel it's impossible? What do you mean if you feel like the way to operate outside of the confines of the system requires at least some level of like revolutionary organizing to be in place? Okay? We are not in that position right now. The fuck are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Like, how? Here's the question. This is why we talk about like no ethical consumption under capitalism. Because like what? How do you truly get out of the mainframe? You just tap out of the internet. You just quit. Okay. You build a log cabin somewhere in the fucking woods. You start living on your own. You start living off the land. Is that what you mean? We should start homesteading. Is that how that works? It doesn't work that way. And plus, I don't even want to do that. Like, that's the other thing. I don't have a problem with like conspicuous or commodity consumption. Okay, I don't have an issue with that at all. I like it. I don't have a problem with it. It's one of the best parts of neoliberal capitalism. It's the best mechanism of control, and it's actually great. It makes me feel good, and it makes you feel good too. It's a lie to say it doesn't. That's why people always like refuse to recognize the contradictions when they say like Hassan is fucking. I saw another tweet about this. There was like some YouTuber who was like, what's his name? What's the dude that looks like me but is like super famous? The YouTuber Mark. What was it? Was it Mark? What the fuck was it? God damn it, I can't remember his name now. Markiplier. Yeah, Markiplier is like Hassan but for leftists, right? Like. And I saw that tweet and I was just thinking like yeah, there is an inherent contradiction in that otherwise like joking sentiment, right? The inherent contradiction is like Markiplier is good, Hassan isn't good because Hassan doesn't live his values, the values that I ascribe to him, whereas Markiplier doesn't live the values, doesn't have to live those same values, right? Even though he is like genuinely so much wealthier than I am, you know what I mean? Like, of course. So the same values that they've ascribed to me that make me a bad person in their eyes are never going to be the same values that they ascribe to them. And that inherent contradiction exists in every kind of... Markiplier is a gaming channel, dude. Yeah. Wasn't it Hassan if you were a good person? No. That was a different one. This was a new one. You wish you looked like them? Yeah, he's a great looking guy. I don't have an issue with him at all. So... No. That other tweet was a long time ago. This was a new one. Azan, I think you're reading a little too far into it. Don't people love Markipliers? Yeah, they do. And I have no issue with him at all. He seems like a really nice dude. My point is, I'm examining that to try to help people recognize that, like, when you, for example, say something along the lines of like, dude, you're this celebrity that I fucking follow. This celebrity that I fucking follow is not abiding by like the communist standards that I think are the appropriate ones. But this other celebrity who doesn't even do any of that and doesn't have to is actually in my mind, because he has never even like openly stated that his perspective on anything that is like inherently political, that person is good. Why? Because he's not doing politics. He's not actually doing the political thing. Well, that's on purpose. It's so you don't actually fucking yell at people like that. That's why so many brands and so many corporations or so many people that have become brands in our influencer culture truly stay away from politics, because you motherfuckers are impossible to deal with. You know what I mean? You're impossible to deal with. But even that very same that dynamic that I'm mentioning here is another demonstration of you being very much a part of the system. Tweeting about your favorite fucking online commentators all day, every day, and having them live in your fucking mind to such a degree it implies that you're also a bug man. That's just the bug you're eating. The bug you're eating is online debate culture, online politics. You're held to an astronomically higher standard. The question is whether or not that's justified given the content of your broadcast. No, I think it's unjustifiable. As Chris Small says, like, I'm just a human. Of course, I was this way before I got popping, and I was this way after. You know what I mean? Okay? Don't we just like shiny commodities of consumption because we learn to like it? Yeah, but it also it feels good. So I think people should feel good. Okay?
If you can sell your soul.
Commodities are alienating. We don't need 24 flavors of Oreos. That's you, motherfucker. Speak for yourself, bitch.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Sorry.
And God bless America. So they were in Casa Grande one afternoon.
So that's it. Leftists who think Americans will accept socialism that doesn't have vast quantity of options are funny. Yeah. No, people that want to restructure people's brains and how they feel about at least the false notion of choice, even if it's like 24 Oreos being created or all these options that are being created by like one fucking or 6 multinational conglomerates are hilarious. Like, it doesn't matter. Especially because they themselves, in their own personal lives, when no one is looking, violate those very same rules in ways that they do not comprehend. That's why you see so many people on Twitter, for example, pop the fuck off and say idiotic things only to be exposed immediately after they're done saying those idiotic things for violating those same rules. Remember how I always, this is a Nick Mullen joke too, to be fair, but I've talked about how keyword search Asian before and predated to like 2015 on anyone's profile, and you will see like the "this you" tweets immediately off of like anyone that's actively championing anti-racist values. Now, people's point of view can change throughout time. Do not misunderstand me, but but you should be empathetic to others. That's my point. Like this. I don't know who this person is, but please this. If you're a communist and you actively enjoy restaurants, especially wealthier ones, you're just a bourgeois sympathizer. Learn to cook your own fucking meals. Person says, why do people think restaurants are basically fine and would still exist under socialism, for Christ's sake? Please, for half a second, just think about it. Really getting my mind blown this morning. Lol. Now, these are people that are just like popping off. and you know, shooting the shit. Ultimately, it's completely meaningless. It's completely fucking meaningless. It's just stupid people. Like, who cares? You know, let people be stupid. And then there's another version of this, which is cooking is a performative act of luxury hobbyist consumption, e.g., preferring gas over induction, paying a premium for red knobs, trying to nail a sous vide recipe. When restaurants exist as a nefarious market inefficiency, recent discourse compels me to remind you: home cooking is regressive, NIMBY aligned, problematically gendered, and ultimately a means of reifying existing class structures. This is a joke, by the way, I think. This guy was joking. The revolution will not be prepared in your kitchen. It will be served to you at a restaurant. I think this was the joke. And this comes from a place of like endlessly pontificating about a post-revolutionary society because you recognize that it is so unachievable that it can only be achievable in your mind. And the only way that it is achievable in your mind is the exact way that it fits like your own personal quirks. You know what I mean? But it's still a good take? What? No, it's not. Shut the fuck up. No, it's not a good take. And when you say it's still a good take, you personally have either A, read too much, or B, are just as fucking brain diseased as this person is. You know what I mean? This is literally the same exact energy as like, you know, in a post-revolutionary society, I'm going to be the fucking anime appraiser, okay? That's what, again, we just like talked so much about this, so it's in my mind. We talked so much about this with Chapo. See? Boom. Immediately, the other alternative comes out. How will the disabled cook? Like, you don't need to have that. You don't need to entertain this conversation, my friend. It is made by a silly person who probably wears their political ideology as a skin, okay? Wears it for a little bit and will cast it aside and will change their mind because they're not motivated by like an empathetic worldview or anything like that. They might be somewhat empathetic, but the ideology that they LARP as is just one that is trendy, okay? That's it. And there are people like that in this chat as well, which is why I talk about this. Mike, hi, Hasanabi. I've decided to be a better person because you have a nice day, sir. Well, thank you. This was a really funny one. I saw this because Frogan quote tweeted it. So a white boy band called Big Time Rush released a song with ableist language, and I'm yet to see the same level of outrage from the disabled community. White disabled people, we got to do better. Like, you think this is, I mean, what are we doing? Apparently the song is like 11 years old, right? I mean, I love this. It's content. I'm a fan of this content. This is good content. But you have to treat it as good content and not like immediately turn around and be like, oh, we need to fucking dox this person. You know what I mean? Wait, this isn't satire? No, of course not. Of course not. This is the left. This is the leftist version of like, here's the thing. There's nothing to gain for us dunking on people who are chronically online. No, there is something to gain. And the thing to gain is to show that like, well, I'm not like this, okay? And I think this is ridiculous. And also, I think it's kind of funny. And I like joking at that. I like laughing at that. What is this? This you? Asians. That's it, yeah. As me. Yeah, this is the leftist version of the gay Disney conspiracy. You know what I mean? It's like you're terminally online. Everyone's terminally online. They're just like trying to find new and creative ways of trying to be. They're trying to find new and creative ways of like trying to stand out from the crowd. So they get that juicy dopamine hit. You know what I mean? Please go outside and talk to people, not behind your keyboard in an echo chamber. It's good for you. Yeah. I don't even think that's leftist brain rot. That just looks like stan culture brain rot, or maybe they're just a teen. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but ultimately, my point is, you know, it'd be normal always, okay? And yeah, that's ableist. Well, fucking, I'm ableist. It really frustrates me how people see movements as trends, but also that has to do with the commodification of movements under capitalism. Certainly. I have seen the post that says stupid is a slur. Yes, I've made fun of it. I made jokes about it. I know it's in response to the Lizzo and Beyonce controversies. I thought those were funny too. Stop trying to be over the top charitable to people who are just popping off for fucking Twitter likes, okay? Because that's what you're doing. When you look to something like this and you go, well, there's a good point in there. There's a good point to be captured in there. You are adopting pre-existing double standards between the way that like black content creators get treated or black people get treated versus white people get treated, and they're using that. They're using that that systemic inequality for what? For what purpose? To juice their fucking tweet and for other idiots like you to go and click like on it, okay? Because you're going to be charitable, because you're basically conditioned when you hear the appropriate fucking words, when you hear the right words, when you hear emancipatory language, when you hear that like TikTok, you know, corporate Memphis tone of voice coming out from a Twitter thread, you are literally immediately conditioned in the most Pavlovian way to react in a positive way. Okay? That's it. That's the point. The important thing to remember is that no one in America understands literally anything about politics, so what they self-identify as their politics indicates almost nothing about what they actually believe / understand. Yeah. So, try to kill your stream? Wait, what? Why? Feel like you're making a change without any critical... Yeah, it's just like, well, my point is this, okay? It's just it is just like chronically online shit. Anyway, I highly doubt that these white men will take any note of the criticism. Beyonce and Lizzo, like, this is a person who I think is like very embarrassed to be white. Okay, I think they're like super, super embarrassed. And like, they're just trying desperately to you know, pop off to be like, I'm one of the good ones. Like, please, you know what I mean? Then doesn't giving it any time juice to tweet because you are terminally online space full of people with this kind of brain rot? No, I'm using this as an example to not do this. This is like when people say, yo, this is your community that you created. Have fun. And when I'm in the process of yelling at someone to not behave that way. You know what I mean? You're doing that same exact thing. My point for showing this is to be like, don't be like this, or understand what this is. Understand what this is. And you know, laugh it off because it's creative. It's creative writing. Okay, it's marginal. It's completely devoid of any sort of like any real impact. Okay, and that's it. I'm using this as a learning moment and an opportunity. There is no reason to see this as anything but that. It doesn't make me feel good to say that it's worth it to look at these marginal posters and be like, oh, lol, that's not me. Seems like it's just feeding into anti-woke shit needlessly. I mean, okay. Sure. I'm feeding into anti-woke shit then. Anyway, I thought these white men will take note of the criticism. Beyonce and Lizzo have set the standard, and it's disappointing, but not surprising that it's unlikely other artists will have the same acknowledgement and adjustments to their language. Also, the ableism in the song Paralyzed is so much more prominent than the single ableist slur that was used on Lonely and Beyonce and Lizzo's songs. The whole chorus is centered around ableism. Like, look at these lyrics. The song is hella ableist too. They intentionally stutter in the chorus. I try to speak, but girl, you got me tongue-tied. I try to breathe, but I'm frozen inside. Try to move, but I'm stuck in my shoes. You got me paralyzed, paralyzed. Wait, what? That's wild. So, by the way, a part of the reason why I do this is because this audience is broad. So while you know where I'm fucking coming from, and you know what my perspective is, a lot of people don't. They come in for the first time ever. There are probably 2,000 people in here right now that have just clicked on this broadcast for the first time ever. They know a little bit about me. They probably think that I am, a liberal or whatever the fuck. So it's important for those people to understand that this community revolves around not championing these sorts of otherwise silly causes that aren't real causes to begin with. And that's it. That's the reason why I do this regularly. Also, besties, I'm not looking to argue whether this is ableist or not. Just because the stutter is used in other songs doesn't make it less ableist. Yeah. How long do you think it will take for the extreme side of the left to dissipate back to something more palatable? Or is this the new normal? Same question for the far right. Wait, what? No, this has been around forever. It's never going to change. The only difference is that, like, on the internet, you can pop off with these... on the internet, you can pop off and, like, make it seem like this is representative of an otherwise, like, neutered movement. This isn't like a leftist value or a demonstration of the left either. That's the point I'm trying to show you. Wait, what? He did not fucking actually post this. While my father loves almost all his supporters, please do not come to Mar-a-Lago to support President Trump. We have many important people coming through in the club. Need to keep it. It's fake. There's no way this is real. Yeah. It's not. I come on, guys. I know. Okay. All right. This. Hot girl shit for Zana. We got Hogwatch. Oh, Trump claims his passports were taken by the FBI. This probably perhaps corresponds to this news story. Trump says the temperature has to be brought down after the FBI raid.
Important questions piling up after the raid at former President Donald Trump's Florida home. Growing calls for transparency over exactly what the FBI took from Mar-a-Lago. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. A source telling Fox News some of the boxes agents walked out with contain information covered by attorney-client privilege. Republicans with this reaction.
We have a number of concerns, but one is whether or not the raid itself was justified. We have this list from the FBI, but we don't have conclusive as to whether or not this actually is classified material.
It was an unprecedented action that needs to be supported by unprecedented justification.
I think it would be good for the Justice Department to release some of the information about the extraordinary steps or the steps they did take to try to cooperate with the former president.
We're also learning from our sources the DOJ does not want a review of the raid. That's almost laughable. The former commander-in-chief calls them corrupt and says the raid is all part of their played-out attempts to...
Wait, this is giving me some conflicting messages. So what's happening? Is Trump saying temperature has to be brought down? And Fox is like, no, fuck that? Or did Trump not say that? You know what I mean? Because it seems like you're not trying to drop the temperature. You're trying to crank it up. You know what I mean?
Undermine him. The White House is, of course, denying any political motivations.
I got to pee. I'll be
This
back.
is about the American people and doing what is right for the American people. The Department of Justice, when it comes to law enforcement, is independent. This is what we believe, and this is what the president has said. This is not about politicizing anything.
And the former president himself was talking with Fox this morning and said he's willing to do whatever possible to help the nation after the raid, saying the temperature has to be brought down. In focus now, Matt Whitaker, acting attorney general under President Trump. Great to see you today. Let's talk about that temperature. Let's speak directly to the former president's words and where we are and what the nation needs to know.
Well, it's good to be with you today, Harris. And the president's absolutely right. We need to lower the temperature across our country. Obviously, political violence is never appropriate, but I want to remind everyone that, really the FBI's extraordinary action here, unprecedented, never happened before in American history, is really what raised the temperature in the first place. And I think many people, including myself, need to talk about how we need to lower the temperature. But I think transparency is what's going to lower the temperature. We need to understand how is the FBI going to process and how is the Department of Justice legally going to analyze things that could be attorney-client privilege, things that could have maybe been declassified, and ultimately, what were the mitigating steps so that when they executed a search warrant, that was the least intrusive means that they had available to them. There's more.
We're just completely avoiding like even talking about the motherfucking subpoenas at this point. It's worse than failing to talk about the top of the hour ad break. You know what I mean? Like at the top of the hour, there's a 6-second ad break. You can touch the thermostat, you can turn it up, you can turn it down, but the ad break still comes. There is one way to avoid the ad break, though. It's by subscribing for $5 or for free with Twitch Prime. Okay? That's right. Twitch Prime is free as long as you have an Amazon Prime account connected to your Twitch account that you can use on your favorite broadcaster. Hopefully it's me. Or if you don't have Twitch Prime, you could just sit around and hope to get lucky. Get gifted a sub. You know what I mean? Nikki Iviore, thank you for the 5 subs. Allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads. Here's the 1-minute ad break now.
Questions today probably than there has been in the last week.
Chauncey
Well, we have
Sama,
more
thank you for the 5
information, and the
subs.
information didn't do anything but open up more questions because we didn't get all of really what.
What time you headed to Malibu tonight? What? The fuck would I go to Malibu? Dolly. Dolly K-Dick, thank you for the 5 subs. Oh, they're talking about weirdo thinks girl strippers in Malibu? Oh. Oh, okay. That was weird. Dude, you made it seem... What the fuck? Dude, why... Man. Twitch chat is like one of the worst places to ask questions like that. Like, that could have been a funny joke, but you gotta, like... You gotta fucking clarify, you know what I mean? It could have been like... Could have been anything at that point. It's like weird.
What we needed to know. So my question then is, was it explosive action that they took? Was it over-the-line action that they took in concert with what you've read so far? Like, what more do we really need?
Yeah.
Man, that's so fucked up. I can't believe they took explosive action when Trump refused to fucking respond to the subpoena request.
Well, Harris, here's the way I analyze this. If you look at the precedent for these types of investigations, obviously we could talk Hillary Clinton, no search warrant was executed. Sandy Berger, General Petraeus. In previous examples of this type of investigation, search warrants were not executed. And
but in those situations, like, they testified. I can't believe I'm like defending Hillary Clinton, but first of all, you were the attorney general, or you were the acting attorney general. You should have done something about it. Secondly, they did also follow through on subpoena requests. And if they didn't, then fucking literally just arrest them. Why didn't you do that, you fucking idiot? You set the precedent. Fox News is so funny when they have like former Trump officials or like literally Trump himself sit there and fucking be like, oh man, well, Hillary, bitch, you were the president. You didn't do anything. Why didn't you do anything? Why are you fucking promoting your own goddamn L's, dude? What the fuck?
The Department of Justice policies is to have the least intrusive means. And so I want to really understand the negotiations leading up to this. You know, it's 18 months since the president had left office. It was 2 months since, in June when they allegedly last met on this topic. You know, why a search warrant now? And it just, again, all the facts that I have that are publicly available suggest actually that the Department of Justice should have negotiated and should have done another subpoena and had other options. And if I was Attorney General, I think the decision to raid a former president's home is the most grave decision that could be made. And I just don't see the exigent circumstances that require this step.
Well, I mean, he didn't follow protocol. That's it. He didn't follow protocol. That's it. Like that's the reason. That's literally the reason. That's it. We know the reason. And then, watch in a week from now, they're going to be like, when more people fucking pop off and more people do like the let's investigate the FBI shit, you know what I mean? And then yet another guy gets killed by the FBI because he like went in with a nail gun or whatever. They're going to start saying, it's crazy how the FBI really fucked up on this situation and caused so much confusion. It's like, no, you caused the confusion. You had a very specific purpose. You took something that you could have covered reasonably, but instead you covered it in the worst way possible. Okay? Instead of covering it in a normal way to be like, well, it seems like Donald Trump didn't actually follow the subpoena requests. So now, they had to go in and whatever, which is what you would normally do to defend the fucking law enforcement agencies in instances where they actually do violate protocols or do behave in an incredibly immoral capacity when they end up like murdering someone. You know what I mean? Many, many instances, many such examples of this. Okay? You channel that energy for this circumstance, and you won't create a chaotic situation for so many people.
From a law enforcement perspective.
Well, look, I'll just hit this quickly and move on. If nobody took into account that there might be things that had attorney-client privilege, it just seems sloppy. Your quick reaction, we'll move on.
Yeah, the team wasn't equipped. FBI agents can't tell the difference between attorney-client privilege and anything else they're looking for. Obviously, they need to set up a taint team. They need somebody to look at this before the investigation gets it. Because if you think about what could be in those documents, it could be legal strategies relating to his January 6th potential defense. It could be defenses related to this. And quite frankly, all of the other litigation and investigations going on. I mean, Donald Trump for 6 years has had to fight all this, so there could be a lot of attorney-client privilege material in those boxes.
All right. A new op-ed in the Wall Street Journal titled "The Payback for Mar-a-Lago Will Be Brutal." Here's a quote from it. Mr. Garland's raid has made even the highest political figures fair prosecutorial game. And the media's new standard is that the department can't be questioned.
I love that. I mean, that'd be sick. I'm such a fan of that. Do it. Do it. That's great. Fucking do it. Oh my God. It'd be so sick if they like arrested and jailed some Democrats as well. Oof. Oof. That would be awesome.
Questioned as it goes around ensuring no one is above the law. Let's see how that holds when a future Republican DOJ starts raiding the homes of Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Eric Holder, James Comey, and John Brennan. What goes around always comes around. What went around this week will come